Well, welcome to the podcast, Matty Lusher. It's a pleasure to have you on the podcast.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Videographer.
Yeah.
Matty, it feels like everybody and their dog is working on video.
Yeah.
Now.
I think it's a huge thing nowadays. I think everyone wants TikTok, YouTube, Instagram Reels, and I think everyone wants the best videos now rather than it used to be photos, I think, before, but now everyone wants the best videos.
Yeah, we're consuming video. Like, I mean, it's addictive. People are completely addicted to video. What got you into video? How did you start out in videography?
Oh, well, funny story. I mean, I was pretty young when I started. I used to film skits with my sister on iPads. I got a camera for my birthday on my 7th or 8th birthday. It's just like a small digital camera, and we used to film skits, YouTube video style stuff, but not post to YouTube. We'd film rap music videos. Like, I used to make rap music when I was younger, but it was horrendous. It was genuinely awful.
What was the style?
Not good. Nothing like what's coming out at the moment. But we'd just mess about. Honestly, fuck about for a while with a camera, and that was it. I'd film holiday recaps, anything. Honestly, I love filming. I then kind of got more interested, started editing. I had like a Minecraft YouTube channel when I was like 13. Moved on to like CSGO, Rainbow Six Siege. I used to film anything that I could then make into a video to post.
It's a tough gig,
Yeah.
gaming channels.
Oh, awful. I mean, a lot of hiding it from my friends at school. I didn't want people to know that I did YouTube, so if someone found out, then it was the end of the world for me.
Yeah, people do that. They're afraid that someone will judge their videos.
Yeah, I think because it's an art piece, you don't want your art being judged, especially if you've put a lot of hard work into it. You don't want someone then to come and be like, "Oh, this is horrendous," and just like take the mick out of you. And I think it's a fear that you then have to overcome if you want to make that next step.
Yeah, because they'll take it and they'll post it around the whole school.
Exactly,
and
yeah.
everyone will laugh at you. And
you'll get the views for the wrong reason,
Yeah.
rather than what you wanted them for originally.
Yeah, well, just thank them for viewing, thanks for viewing. And I always think that with haters, you should just say, well, thanks for watching.
That's exactly. So especially with the music video stuff, whenever we get someone commenting something just that's not needed, I mean, I can take criticism, like if it's constructive, if it's maybe do this better next time or try not do this. But it's when it's targeting artists, maybe like racially motivated, quite often we get, or just things that just didn't need to be said. And say, oh, well, cheers for watching anyway.
Well, you were talking about music, right? So you've already had a mention on the podcast by M2 and Young Stunner when they were on, and Rob as well.
Yeah, Rob, great guy.
Tell us a little bit about your involvement in the music industry.
Well, I mean, growing up, I watched a lot of American rap videos, Lyrical Lemonade, Cole Bennett, being a huge inspiration of mine. And I always wanted to do rap music and music videos, but I just found it difficult because growing up in Aberdeen, like when I moved back from Vienna, it just there wasn't a scene here. I didn't know where to start. And just one day, one of my friends happened to be just with one of his mates, and they were in a house filming a music video on an iPad, and he goes, oh, my mate knows cameras if you guys want. And he kind of messaged me, and we got talking to this rapper guy, Simi, if anyone knows Simi, good rapper, known him for a while now. And we met up, and I said I'd do the first video for free because I was like, I've got no idea what I'm doing. We shot it outside of Purple Premiere outside Nescall. I filmed it, edited it all. My friend messaged me, this is the worst editing I've seen. Finlay, who's now my business partner in Between the Lines. So he told me the editing was awful and then took over for me. So that video was released with my edit. So if you go back and watch that, it's not great. And then we worked again with Simi, and then out of nowhere, I had a message from this guy, Bernie Bison, who's also a rapper from Aberdeen, kind of more vocalist, more melodic stuff. And we worked with him. And then after shooting that, we never even released the video until a couple months ago. the video was never released, but from all the Instagram promo that we'd done, or like just videos of us filming, the floodgates opened. Just rapper, left, right, center. And it's people that I never knew existed. And yeah, I mean, we just started working with tons and tons of people and growing the scene, I think. And I don't want to take all the credit for growing the scene, but I feel like I was definitely part of, building up that scene, and I've put a lot of work into it.
I think when you're making video, like the thought process though, that's absolutely key to the success of any, music and music videos now, because you're almost telling a story. It's like a storytelling, and you have to think it through. What's your process like? Do you have a process when you think, how's this video going to start? What's the middle of it going to be like? And what will the end of it be like? Or
it really depends who I'm working with. So I know there's a lot of artists that come to me and think, just do what you think's right. A lot of artists will also come to me and say, I want the video like this, this, this. And it's about finding that, okay, well, if you want your video, if you know what you want it to look like already, but here's my input, and this is how I think it should look. And then they'll maybe take a step back and analyze it and be like, okay, maybe he's got a point. And I think it just starts with listening to the lyrics. Are the lyrics telling a story? Are they trying to explain a series of events? Are they trying to explain just a story of the artist? If they're just chatting gibberish, and not gibberish, but like maybe nothing that is a story to be told, then we'll go for like a more kind of, the video will be more performance-based rather than story-based. So like a lot of rap is obviously story-based, but we also get the occasional video where we're like, there's not really a story to be told here, so we will kind of just do lots of performance takes and see how it goes. And if it does have a story, then that's when I start writing. I'll get like my laptop out, I'll type out scene 1, scene 2, scene 3, this is how I want it to roll. And but those are always the hardest videos to make, because they take all the planning. Whereas a lot of our videos are just run and gun at the moment. It's turn up on the day, shoot what we can, and hope it looks good.
Right. What about the Pataudry video? Like that what a win that was, like getting into Pataudry. How'd that come about?
It was a lot of planning.
Are you mates with Barry Robson, or
he's my dad's neighbour though?
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Right.
So,
okay.
It came about a long time ago. Stunna and M2 had made a song called Ay Caramba, and I thought, this is it. This is the song for Pataudry. Emailed them, straight away response, great. Had a bit of back and forth email, and then they decided to just stop replying to me. And I was like, oh, that's great. And a few months go by, tried emailing over these, like the next 8 months, maybe one email a month, just seeing if they'd get a reply. Nothing. Duke was then made, which was obviously a huge hit in Aberdeen.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some for the better reasons, some not for such great reasons. A lot of people didn't also like it. They didn't want anything to do with Aberdeen Football Club, nothing like that. And me and Rob tried to contact Aberdeen FC again, Pataudry, and we got a response. After 8 months, I got a response again. And to be honest, I don't think I would have tried. I think Rob mentioned it, and I was like, oh, it's not worth it. I've been trying for the past 8 months. And he goes, oh, let me shoot an email over. And he did, and we got a response. And I got CC'd in. I explained to them, look, the song is, dedicated to your star player, who at the moment he was a star player, but he's not doing too great right now.
Oh.
And as a big Dons fan, I think it was a huge achievement. I mean, for me to go into my boyhood club's football stadium and shoot a music video, doing the thing I love the most that I want to do as a career, being in that situation was amazing for me. I mean,
it's like you had all access to it as well.
So we got in and we arrived a bit early to shoot some scenes. We had a GTR turn up and we got like all the drone shots, and the guy came out and he met us, and he's like, yeah, just come in, just want a tea, coffee, whatever. And he was like, we'll take you around, where do you want to see? So he took us to like the trophy room, and then to the changing room, and then I really wanted a shot in the middle of the pitch on the centre dot with a drone flying around.
Yeah.
But we weren't allowed to fly a drone inside the stadium because they'd had a couple of mishaps. And we weren't allowed on the pitch. We weren't allowed on the grass, which I can understand why. but it really crushed me a little bit. I was like, oh no. But no, the filming was great. I mean, I messaged Kev Smith. He's a videographer from Aberdeen as well, and I messaged him basically saying, look, I need to use your camera because my camera is not good enough to capture this right now. And this was before I just upgraded to Sony A7, but I had a Lumix at the time, and I was like, nah, I need a full frame camera here. I need to be able to put it on a gimbal and just look good. And so Kev pulled through like he always does.
So did he have a Sony A7?
So no, he had a A6100, but it was lighter than my camera, which means it could place on a gimbal.
Okay.
So a lot of it was thanks to Kev as well, that it looked great. And then we filmed it all. We had, one of my mates, Max, he came to do photos. We had my mate, Finlay, he was editing it, so he was there as well. And it was just such a surreal day. I mean, the whole time we were in there, just, in the conference room, I was like, oh, this is where they do all the interviews. And
amazing.
It was amazing. Yeah. And then getting that video from Duke himself was unreal. When he messaged me on Instagram and he followed me, I was over the moon.
Wow, you made a song about him.
Yeah, well, it wasn't me as such, but
he's you're a team effort.
I think he just didn't want me pestering him anymore. I kept messaging him, being like, "Hey man, we've got this cool song coming out. We want you as part of it." And it was really cool.
Yeah. You must have got a lot of business out of that.
Yeah, a lot of message. I mean, it's sort of sitting on around at 34,000, 33,000 views right now. So it definitely did well. I mean, the TikToks, I think we must have accumulated over 100,000 views over TikTok alone. And yeah, there's a lot of like people that, maybe diehard Aberdeen fans are like, get this away from our club. And I can kind of get where they're coming from, because I don't think Aberdeen was ever traditionally with rap. I don't think they ever wanted anything to do with rap.
It's a bit of fun though.
Well, that's the thing, but well, we'll see. I mean, hey, at the end of the day, like you said, they watched it, so it's still a view to add to the counter, and I'm hoping the next we can hit like 100,000. 100,000 views would be really nice.
Oh, you were talking about TikTok there, right? So, what do you make of TikTok? What's the use in TikTok?
Oh, it's huge for promotion right now. I mean, the first video that really kind of flew off the shelf for us was Valentino by Young Stunner, and obviously, I'm with the G's did well. That was our very, very first video on Between the Lines. It did so good for a first video. But Valentino was where it got serious, and we've posted a TikTok of us getting arrested filming the video. We got pulled over by about six armed police officers, 6 armed police officer vans. Sorry, not just we were going down Union Street with flares out the back of a car.
All right.
And I mean, I did the risk assessment before, and I thought, well, it'd be good, but
took a hit for the video there.
Well, I did 130,000 views on TikTok, so it really boosted it.
Did they say anything, or did they charge you for that?
Yeah, we got charged, but we only got charged a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
So, and that video was filmed over a year ago.
What did they charge you with?
Reckless endangerment.
All right. I mean,
I can understand.
It was but it was for the art.
Well, that's the thing.
The video.
But I mean, when you see, 5, 6 guys driving down Union Street in balaclavas with flares hanging out the back of a car, I can kind of understand where it's coming from. So it was a bit scary, to be honest. I mean, I remember them. They came the wrong way around the roundabout, flew over the curb and everything, jumping out the car. And I was like, and at the start, I was like, oh, it's fine. They're not for us. They're not for us. And well, they were. And it was a long day, to say the least. Yeah.
Wow. So here we were talking about equipment there, right? What are you using now? Like if I was going to make a video, what would I want to be using? What do you use?
So up until now, I've used a Lumix GH5 with a Sigma lens. The lens is amazing. It's just way too heavy. I mean, when you're putting that on a gimbal, the camera drops off a little bit, so it is a bit frustrating. So currently I'm using a Sony A7 Mark III, which is a great camera.
Yeah.
I've loved it since I got it, and I've got a 50mm lens on it, fixed 50mm. But I feel like I need a wider lens as well, because otherwise things are just going to look too the same for every video. So I'm going to look into investing into like another lens soon, but it's just also expensive.
It's so expensive.
Yeah.
You know, I got an email the other day about the new DJI gimbal thing.
Oh,
have you seen that?
the Ronin or something?
The vlogging gimbal.
Oh.
And I'm such a sucker for these things. Like I saw that. I need that.
Yeah.
I don't actually need
No.
it. There's probably one shot. You know what I mean? Like one shot that I
you'll
would
use it for a
for.
week and that's it, you know, and it is nice to have all the equipment. So I just got funding from a company called Youth Next Gen.
Right.
So they're a company down in London based. They give out funding to creatives, and I applied and I got accepted. So I was one of 35 people in the whole of the UK to get accepted this time, and I was the only also non-artist to get accepted.
What's the criteria to get accepted to that?
You know what? I'm not even going to lie. I've got no idea. I just filled in a couple forms.
Yeah.
I had to write a couple, not essays, but like I pretty much had to explain what I was going to do with the money. And I said I was going to film 3 free music videos for artists, because music videos are so expensive. And when you're an artist, if you're already paying for studio time, if you're paying for studio time, mixing, mastering, and all that stuff, then you're looking at a lot of money. And the music video on top of that, it's just a lot. So they accepted it, and I bought myself some new lights, what else did I get? New lights, and then a lot of marketing stuff that's going to work with the videos. So the videos aren't actually out yet, and they'll be out soon, and they're already looking really good.
Oh yeah?
I mean, yeah.
Okay. Where can they see them? Is this going to be on your YouTube
Yeah,
channel?
so all the videos will end up on Between the Lines YouTube channel.
Yeah, so they'll find you on the Between the Lines YouTube channel.
Yeah, so,
and is it also Between the Lines on TikTok and
yeah,
Instagram?
So, actually, our Instagram is Between the Lines Prod, like production, and then TikTok is different. It's BTL Production, because our old account, we got locked out of it, which was Between the Lines. So we got locked out, but this account's doing a lot better.
That's okay. It doesn't really matter if you, as long as you can grow the one that you're on.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think the videos always do well on TikTok. I'm just waiting for that one video that's not going to do well and it's going to crush my spirits.
Yeah.
But they've been doing really well up until
I have
now.
mixed feelings about TikTok.
Yeah.
Like I like the fact that you can promote yourself so easily on TikTok. But if I have that on my phone, I'm going to procrastinate like forever. I'll spend 2 hours flicking through mindless videos on TikTok.
I think, I'm quite bad for that. I'm quite bad for just sitting on TikTok and scrolling. And I'm in the mindset always that I could have used that time to better myself rather than TikTok. So I'm quite bad. You know, I'm like one of those kind of people that I think going out on a Saturday is all right, but I'd rather stay at home and learn to edit or shoot a video. So like, for example, there was one Saturday night, I was sat at home, it's 10 at night, and I messaged Young Stunner and I go, yo, are you free right now? He goes, yeah, I'm at studio, pull through. I said, do you want to shoot a music video? He goes, yeah, let's do it. So turned up 10 o'clock. We didn't even have a song in mind. Got to the studio. He goes, yeah, I've just recorded this. What do you think? I listened to it. And the song was called FDB, Fuck That Bitch. And it was on a really good beat. And the song sounded great. So let's go run it. So it was like 10:30. Stepped outside, started filming straight away. Got home at about 2 a.m. Finished it for 7 o'clock in the morning. The video was ready to go, and we still haven't released it. But he always messages me, goes, when are we releasing it? And I'm like, oh, we should, but it's just, I don't know when the right time will be for something like that.
Sometimes that's the best though, you know, because like, you know, I've been doing YouTube for a long time, and some of the videos I've released have been the ones that are exactly as you describe. You're working on it for a day. You just think, hey, this is a good idea. I'm going to make this video. It popped into your head. You make it. You know, you film it, you edit, the whole thing's done in one day, and you're like, I'll just put it out there and see, and it just takes off. Whereas I could spend a whole week editing a video and it doesn't do anything. Yeah, you know, so
it is
surprise you.
I feel like that's our issue though as well, is that we care a lot about what people think of us. I think as humans, I think if we're gonna post something, we want it to do well because it's something we've worked hard on, and if it gets 10 views. Well, it's going to completely crush you. So I think that's one of the issues as well, is that when you want, for example, this video, I don't want to drop it because I'm scared it doesn't do well. But at the same time, it's like, well, if I don't drop it, I'll never know. You know what I mean? So
it's useful though when it doesn't do well, because you can actually gain a lot. You can almost see it. And I don't know if you do, if you use YouTube, you can actually see in the analytics exactly where people stopped watching your video, and you can say, well, what did I do wrong there? And it's a great lesson. But I mean, hey, I think you'll probably drop it and you'll be surprised at how good it does. You know, it's I think those things where you think, hey, this is a great idea. It was a great idea because it was a good idea.
Yeah,
you know, and it turns out to be great.
It was cool. I mean, like those kind of videos I think are always the best though. The ones that are not planned. Because I think as soon as you start planning, it's very easy for stuff to go wrong. And then that's when you get stressed, is if things aren't going to time, which happens a lot. For example, when I filmed with Bernie for the first time, the first video we shot was running out of time, and I think he came 2.5 hours late to the shoot.
Right.
And I was sat waiting at Torrey Battery for 2.5 hours.
Right.
And I was like, well, what's happening? And I was getting really annoyed. And there's a few times, I mean, I think it's something I've learned over time though, is that African timing is crazy. It is nuts. It is, they explain it to me all the time, and I can never seem to like get it right though. It's like, I don't know how it works, but basically they're always late. Always. Like,
so you should just be late as well then.
Well, for example, when we filmed Down with the G's, I told them it started at 8:30, but it actually started at 11:30. And guess who strolled in bang on time, 11:30? Mr. Bernie Bison himself.
Oh, right, okay. Okay.
So it's kind of like, tell them it starts an hour before, and then they'll be there half an hour late rather than an hour and a half late, kind of thing. Like, yeah.
The bigger your production is getting, the more people are involved and the more people you're relying upon. And is that a problem as you start to scale what you're doing, timing, getting everybody to arrive on time, getting all your pieces of equipment together on time? Is that one of your biggest challenges, or is there more of a challenge than that?
I think so, because as a director, everyone looks at you as, if it doesn't do well, if it's because the edit's bad, let's say Finley's messed something up in the edit, they're not going to look at Finley. They're going to look at, well, you're the director, so you should have sorted that out. Or if the camera angles aren't great, which at the moment I'm filming most of it, but for example, if I've got someone else to film it, if they're not looking great, then they're going to be like, well, why is it not good? You know what I mean? And obviously, like you're saying, with people being late, it affects everyone, because if one person's late, and some people start stressing, thinking, okay, where's the cameraman, or where's the photographer? Because that's something we started doing a lot recently, is getting photographers to come to shoots, because it does really well on social media if we can get proper photos done. Yeah. So a guy, Farmer Roo, who does a lot of our photography for us, and Max, he helps us a lot. And then once I've had this guy called Dan that I used to work with. He's a good guy as well. So I've worked with a good few photographers who like to pull through. And if I forget anyone, I'm really sorry. I really don't mean to, because I feel like before I came on this podcast, I thought, God, I need to make sure I thank everyone that's helped us to get to where we are. And I'm scared I'm going to forget someone, but I think everyone knows who they are, and everyone does their bit. And
before you shoot, right? So with all these people involved, you must be, the night before, you'd be like, I just hope everybody turns up, and like, I hope, you must be like, is it a sick feeling, or? Oh,
I mean, not always. It's certain artists you can rely on to do great. Like, they will make sure, because a lot of times it's the artist that gets all their mates, for example, because we need a scene with 10 people in the background, and it's like, well, some artists you can be like, oh yeah, their friends will pull through. Some artists you're like, okay, I might have to start asking some of my own friends to come along. And it is, or like if I'm filming, for example, I'll be like, okay, is my camera charged? Are my lights charged? Is my gimbal charged? Is my SD card clear? Because like, for example, I was shooting a video, and I forgotten the little piece for my gimbal to attach the camera to it. So I was like, yeah, we should get a gimbal shot. And I pulled out the gimbal, and I was like, you know what? Maybe it's better we just don't do a gimbal shot. I think it should all be handheld. Natural. Yeah, exactly. And it's about trying to hide why you can't do it. You know what I mean? Like, but no, it's a very stressful feeling the night before. And my girlfriend, she knows it, because I'll be stressing the night before, and she'll be like, just calm down. I'm like, well, what do you mean calm down? There's too much to sort out. It's not great.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the relying on so many other people. Yeah. When it comes to video, like, do you have a favorite style? Like, I mean, looking at other filmmakers, is there people you aspire to?
Cole Bennett, 100%.
Cole Bennett. So
he is the founder of Lyrical Lemonade, which is probably the biggest music video platform in America, if not the world. Well, rap music video. He's worked with artists such as Juice WRLD, Drake, huge artists. And I think growing up listening to that kind of music, like the Juice WRLDs, the Lil Peeps, the XXXTentacion, you want to be like them. And his videos are nuts. So we can't really get to that level right now because he genuinely has £100,000 budgets.
And also a massive team.
Exactly.
Of people at the top of their game, probably.
Yeah, so I think if I'm looking at more of like someone I look up to that I can work around now, it has to be Toxic. He's a videographer director videographer down in England. He works a lot with Clavish and Fredo and all them lot. So I'd say because Clavish is probably my favorite UK artist at the moment, watching his videos and seeing them all be done by the same guy, Toxic, I kind of try to match the energy, and I'm like, well, that's a really cool shot. Why don't we try to do something similar? But it's about trying to do it similar without copying, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you want to put your own flavour on it.
Exactly, yeah. So I think, I can't even think, if we've got between the lines, I don't think we have something that's like, that's a between the line shot. I don't think someone can look at it and be like, yeah, that's a standard between the line shot. But we'll hopefully get to that soonish.
You will. For sure. You'll get stuff that you love doing, and it'll creep into all of your videos.
Yeah.
And do you only take inspiration from music, or do you look at like cinema and admire videography in cinema, or just no?
When I studied college, everyone was like, "Oh, have you seen this movie and this movie?" I was like, "No." They're like, "Oh, Pulp Fiction, great movie." I was like, "What was Pulp Fiction?" And everyone was like, "What? How do you not know Pulp Fiction?" And the whole reason I went to that course was to learn to do music videos.
Yeah.
TV didn't really interest me. I mean, I'll watch a movie, I'll be able to watch a movie and think that's really well filmed, or that's really well edited, but I don't sit down and watch a movie. I'd rather sit down and watch 100 music videos than...
That's great. You're like totally focused on what you wanted to do, and you followed through with it.
Yeah.
So I bet you a lot of people in the course probably just thought, I'll get into video with no real aim or end goal.
Yeah, I think that's the issue with video, is that when you study that, coming out of studying it, it's very difficult to get a job in the media sector. I mean, because everything is so established. So it's kind of about who you know rather than what you know. And it's a bit of a shame that a lot of people then might not do as well because they don't know certain people.
Mm-hmm.
It is difficult, I think, unless you get that kind of breakthrough, unless you can do something yourself and then people look at it and go, wow, that was very good. Let's hire this guy, or let's follow him and he can do what he wants, I guess. But I think nowadays, especially with like the likes, everyone can do it. Everyone can film on their phone now. It's not like it used to be when you needed a camera to film. Everyone can just use their phone and shoot the same quality content that people are shooting at Hollywood, almost. It's a shame for people that are really trying, and you've got people coming out with their phone and filming things and getting more views than they've done, that they've worked like a month on. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the issue. That's the issue, I guess, with things like TikTok, is that you look at a video sometimes, it's got over 1 million views, and you're like, how the hell has that got 1 million views? But something that I've worked on for 2 months is sitting on 300. You know what I mean? It's difficult. It is difficult to do stuff like that, yeah.
I know. But I think the way that you're doing it is the right way to do it, because you're actually grabbing the bull by the horns. You're putting your own work out.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are waiting for someone to help them. They're like, okay, I'll just, hopefully someone will come along and take me to the heights. But you're actually doing it yourself. You're going to get yourself there.
I was quite bad for that, though. I used to think, I can't film because I don't have a camera. But I have my phone. Why can I not film on my phone? Or I had a GoPro. Why can I not just use that? And I think I just used to make excuses for myself a lot. And I've obviously worked on not doing that as much anymore. Obviously, it's come a lot with getting the equipment. And now and again, I will still be like, I don't have this piece of equipment. I can't do that.
Do you follow Think Media on YouTube?
No, I don't.
I love their slogan.
Yeah.
So that it's quite a big kind of like YouTube channel that helps you develop your channels.
Mm-hmm.
But their slogan is, you've just got to hit record.
Yeah,
exactly. I love
exactly.
that. You just have to hit record.
It's the thing. It's like, it's so easy nowadays. And, you just need to not make that excuse like I did for ages. And that's one of my regrets, is I wish I started doing it sooner. because, you know, if I think I had started it sooner, I would be better for a start for now, because I would have had extra experience, and I could be further because I'd be able to have like built more of a platform. But there's no point in dwelling on that now, and I've started it, so I may as well keep it going.
So yeah, keep it going, and over time you'll get there.
Yeah.
You definitely will, and the way that things are going with quality, the music videos that you're putting out, it's exciting.
I feel like every day is kind of like a dream, because I'm working on things that I thought of as a kid. Like, I mean, you know, me and my girlfriend, we went to Wireless together, and I mention my girlfriend quite a lot, but you know, she supports me so much. Honestly, if like, a lot of times I see people on like Instagram, TikTok being like, oh, if you want to make it, you can't have a girlfriend, she'll hold you back. But, you know, like, I can agree with that to a certain extent. If she is holding you back, then you can't. But, you know, I can't say that about my girlfriend. She really has supported me.
Do you show her your work and ask for like constructive criticism back from her?
She's always the first to see. She's always the first to see an edit. If Finley sends me an edit, I'll wake her up. I'll be like, yo, wake up. Luke, you have to watch it with me. You have to watch it, and we'll watch it together. And we went to Wireless together, and it made me see what I wanted in terms of like, because Wireless is a huge rap festival down in London, and it made me see I want to be able to do something like this. I want a Wireless. And we did Heatwave in August, which was our kind of debut show, which showcased a lot of Aberdeen's musical talent. And kind of seeing that and seeing the response we got was really good. I mean, we sold over 200 tickets. We were on STV News. We were all over the newspapers. And, you know, for me, I was like, wow, like, this is what I want. And I just want to keep going and keep going. And I think with Heatwave 2, we want to do bigger, better. I think Stunning that mentioned it on their podcast, how we want to get someone big from down south.
When do you plan to do that?
It just depends, really. I mean, first of all, it depends on where we want to do it and if they have availability. It depends on who we can get and when they're available. And, you know, I'd love to do it as soon as possible, but I think right now, I mean, we're focusing on an EP, a Between the Lines EP. So we've not actually spoken about that yet. By the time this comes out, it might have been spoken about. So I'm actually on my way to the studio after this to go work on that, which is another huge thing for me, like, growing up seeing like Internet Money release an album, which like Internet Money are like a production company that like they do like beats and stuff, and so I guess like beats made by non-artists, so like a Between the Lines EP, for example, is once again another dream come true. And if it does well, then hey, it might be a Heatwave 2 is the EP tour or something, you know. But we're looking to release that on, I think, the 22nd of December. So it's a big thing for us. I mean, It's a huge step. Like our first Spotify release and stuff. And
how many songs are on an EP?
It can vary. I mean, some people can drop an EP with 2 songs. Because, I mean, I'm pretty sure EP just stands for extended piece. So it's more than a single. So it could be 2 songs. I think 6 songs. I think that's roughly where your EP kind of...
Do you think the day of an album is past? Does anybody listen to a whole album now?
I mean, I'm trying to think, when was the last time? Well, I guess if you're a big artist, if you're already established, dropping an album's, I mean, it's what you're going to do. So I listened, I mean, Drake's album, you know, For All the Dogs. I listened to Utopia by Travis Scott, which was an album, which is huge.
You'd actually listen to the whole album all the way through? Because I never do that. I just go on Spotify and I just have, like, say I want to listen to, I don't know, Drake or someone like that. I just say, like, play Drake. Yeah. And it'll play his hits. Yeah. I never, like, say, look for an album.
I definitely think, though, the days of an album are slowly coming to an end. I mean, EPs, I mean, like TikTok and stuff like that, I keep coming back to it, but it's the attention span. That's why it's good, because it's a 15-second video and you're done. So, like, I guess when it comes to an album, is anyone really going to sit through 40 minutes of music? You know, Dave and Central C dropped their EP, their collab EP, which is 4 songs, and it flew off the shelves. You know what I mean? And that's roughly what we're looking to do, 4 or 5 songs max. And especially because we're not established, we just want, you know, just a taste of what we can do. And if it does well, we'll maybe go bigger. I don't know. Yeah. I guess the sky's the limit on something like that. It really is. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. I mean, when you see for, you know, you want to bring a bigger name artist to Aberdeen, Have you got contacts? Like, how do you, or people in mind, how do you get to them? How do they?
So difficult.
Is it?
It's honestly really difficult. I mean, because everyone has managers now and stuff, it's trying to find who's manager. And like my dream to bring up would be Clavish. Honestly, I think he's the best in the UK right now. His music, I mean, he doesn't promote his music. He just drops it and he goes, that's a song out. And it still does.
Yeah.
Thousands and thousands of views. I mean, that just shows how good he is. Central C would be nuts. He's probably like up there with Clavish, one of my favorite UK artists. He's really the one that bridged the gap between the UK and the US music industry. K-Trap would be pretty cool. So I think we do have a couple contacts down south through, like, we've got like people we've worked with in the past that have gotten bigger and I've been working with them. So they're like, oh, well, here's K-Trap's email, for example. I had a 10-hour studio session with him.
I wonder if like any of these guys are doing a date, like doing a tour that you could get in touch and they would just do an extra date.
Well, that's kind of what I was thinking as well, something like that. But the furthest north they usually come is Glasgow. I mean, you never really get anyone coming past Glasgow. But we have like the tech centre.
You guys are doing something, and there's an airport now. You know, like they can you're putting on an event, and it's just as easy to fly to Aberdeen as to Glasgow.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know really how it works, but I think a lot of artists, they'll fly into like Heathrow, for example, and they'll hire a bus, and then the bus will just go around the UK.
Right.
And for example, Afrobuzz, they're very good at it. They're Aberdeen based. They bring big artists all the time, like Afro beats artists rather than rappers. So like I had the opportunity to work with Buju Benson, who is a huge Nigerian Afrobeats artist.
How did that come about?
He came to Aberdeen, like they'd obviously took him in, and I was working quite closely at the time with a guy called Coates, which is quite surreal because when I first started, Coates was someone I always wanted to work with, and to have built like a friendship with him almost, as well as business, is pretty cool. And he was the support act. And I was like, well, I could just stay and just film for this guy as well. And he's got like 1.6 million on Instagram. He's, over 4 million monthly listeners. It's a big deal in the Afrobeats community. So I stayed and I filmed for him. But I think what was more interesting for me was speaking to his videographer and like just speaking to someone that's doing what I want to do full time. And I think I learned a lot of stuff from him as well, and he's a cool guy. We message on Instagram now and again.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, it's great to have somebody who's got all that kind of experience, and they can even sometimes 10 minutes with someone like that, and you can learn so much.
Well, that's the thing. Like everyone was like surrounding the artist, and I was like, "Hey, you're the videographer. Like, how did you get into it and stuff like that?" And it's definitely surrounding yourself with good people, because if you surround yourself with bad people or like people that just don't have the same mindset as you, you're gonna fail.
This could be the tip that I was away to ask you about, but it might not be. But what tip would you give someone who's an aspiring videographer?
Just press record. Honestly, just press record. Surround yourself with good people, 100%. I'm not saying that just because your friends are doing something different to you that they're bad people, but maybe don't. If you're aspiring to be something and your friends are aspiring to not do as much, try to distance yourself a bit and see what it does to you. Because if you take that distance, if they're going out every weekend and you're not, and you're working on yourself, then you might actually get better. And I'm not saying that if you go out you're a bad person, because everyone has different views, everyone has different goals, and if some people's goals means they don't really have to take that time out, but in an industry like video, you really, really need to teach yourself. You need to learn as much as you can, because there's thousands of other people doing the same thing as you, and you need to be different. You need to be better than them. Yeah.
I know. Like, here, I've got a story about that, actually. Yeah. So, like, I'm making all these barber videos.
Yeah.
And I was trying to kind of do one a week. Mm-hmm. To try and change, I was going for consistency, and I was trying to learn one thing new with every video. Yeah. And I put them out, and I probably spend maybe a day or a day and a half on a video. But I like to go hill walking as well. Mm-hmm. And it was we're coming into the summer, and I was like, I don't really want to do any video. I want to go hill walking. Yeah. It's a nice day. And for some reason, I was on this one haircut video, and my YouTube channel wasn't that big at the time. I wasn't doing so well. I said it was like only had 16,000 subs at that point.
Yeah, great.
But it's doing better now. And anyway, I thought, right, you know what? It was a beautiful day, and I'm going to sit inside. It's a boiling day outside. I'm going to sit inside and edit when I want to be out in the sun. And I sat there from morning until night, and then the next day I edited again, morning till night, and I released the video. And so, like, I sacrificed what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I thought I'm just going to spend more time perfecting this and putting animations on it and just going over every single second of
perfect,
it. Yeah. And I put it out. Nothing. Didn't get any response. You know, I got a few views, and that was that. And I went away on holiday, and I was sitting there on holiday. I looked at the YouTube analytics, and I was like, look at this. It's absolutely blowing up. Because the algorithm kind of looked at it for about a few weeks, and then it just blew up.
Yeah.
Like it just, I'm so fast. I went from 16,000 subs to 60,000 in about a month. It was so fast.
It just takes that one video.
Yeah, but the key was that instead of just doing one video a week, 1 day of editing, I then did instead 2.5 days of editing on one video. I doubled the effort on a video, and the reward was unbelievable because it just made it better.
It's discipline. I mean, sacrificing, going out to perfect your craft is just discipline.
I
mean,
totally
it is knowing, right, I want to go and see my friends, but I'm not going to do it because I know I need to finish this video, and it's a difficult thing. I struggle with it a lot. My mates will be like, you want to come play football? I'm looking at this video and I'm like, oh, maybe, but then I realize I'm like, no, I need to stay. I need to finish this video.
Definitely.
Like, for example, it's my sister's birthday was yesterday, and she's going out tomorrow for her birthday. She's like, can you please come? And I was like, yeah. And I looked, I'm like, well, I've got a Gregor MacPherson video to edit. I've got Marco's video to finish up. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry. I don't think I'll make it because I need to sacrifice that to finish the videos.
That'll be worth it in the long run, that.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Buy her a nice house or something when I make it for her birthday.
If you make really good quality video, people will watch it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if you're putting out a video of that's good quality now, but you don't have a lot of viewers, as you start getting traction, your new viewers will go and watch all your old stuff.
Yeah.
Because they'll realize,
and then it'll go up.
Yeah.
I think I like looking back at my old stuff and seeing how far I've come. I think looking at my first 3-4 videos, they weren't the best, but they're not awful. But looking at me now, and I'm like, I've come a long way in that. I mean, we've only been doing it just over a year, like properly. So thinking, okay, well, that's a year and a half, let's say. Well, let's see what 3 years is, or let's see what 2.5 years is. So, I mean, we just hit 100,000 channel views in under 2 years. I think it was a year and a half, which is great. But I'm thinking, instead of being like, oh, nice, I got 100,000, I was thinking, okay, well, we've got 3-4 months until the 2-year mark. Let's see if we can do 150,000, or let's see if we can get 200,000. You know what I mean? It's okay, be happy, but also push yourself to that next goal. Because like I've said, the sky's the limit. I mean, if you can be satisfied with your work, then that's fine. But I think I won't be satisfied until I get a play button, or like I can do something crazy.
You'll get one.
I hope so.
Because you have the right attitude towards it, and I think it's just a matter of time, really. And as you get there, it moves even faster. Because like all the content that you put out, like I say, people will go and watch it. The historic content, they'll watch that as well. So every time you pick up a view from someone who wants to binge watch your stuff, you might be picking up 10 views.
Yeah. And I think that's it as well. Is finding that kind of I don't like calling it a fan base. I wouldn't say they're fans or whatever, but it's finding that support, like the supporters, the people that support you, making sure that you're satisfying them as well as yourself. Because obviously you can make a video that's great, that you enjoy, but if they're not going to enjoy it, it's not going to do well. So being able to satisfy your fans, or whatever you want to call them, that's great as well. And I think there's a lot of that in music, because you can't just drop a rap song and it does really well and then go, you know what, I'm going to switch it up and do I'm going to sing, you know what I mean? And because that support group, like not support, the fan base that you've built is for rap. And I'm not saying that means you need to stick to rap, but you need to maybe like ease your way out of rap into singing if that's what you want to do, because you'll lose everyone then rather than just losing a couple, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you're diversifying into another audience there. And
Yeah.
right, Mai, in a digital age, how important is it for a business nowadays to invest in video and social media?
I mean, I think it's pretty huge. I mean, I work for I won't name the company I work for because I don't want them getting any bad press from me for whatever reason. But I work for a company and I do their like a lot of media stuff with them. And recently, I've been doing a lot more video for them because obviously it's what I'm good at. And I've kind of said, look, I think video is really definitely something you want to push. And I mean, it is definitely important. I mean, because I think everyone watches videos. You know what I mean? No matter if it's long form, short form, everyone prefers a video now to reading an article, I think. And it's just easier. I mean, I'll wake up in the morning, let's say I'll have my breakfast, and I will put my phone up and I'll just watch a video. And it could be anything, you know what I mean? And I guess, and that's where the ads go. I mean, let's say I'm watching a YouTube video and then an ad pops up, you know, and I'll be like, I won't care about it, but in the back of my mind, I'm still thinking, oh, remember that ad earlier? Like, that looked pretty cool or whatever. You know, it was a pretty cool company. So I think video production is huge. I mean, it's definitely an important thing in business.
Right. So 2 things about video. What's more important, long form or short form?
I'd say long form, but the short form content that you get from a long form video is crucial. I mean, like we film like a lot of behind the scenes stuff, and those videos can be 20 minutes long. No one sits through a 20-minute video, but the clips that you can pick up, I mean, from 20 minutes you can pick up hundreds.
You can make a lot of
short. Yeah,
that.
exactly. So, like obviously music videos are very short form anyway, 3 minutes usually around that time. But for example, when I'm working with likes of Gregor MacPherson, you know, professional boxer, we're shooting videos that are over 10 minutes. So it's about trying to keep someone engaged with that for 10, 15, 20 minutes. And, you know, it's great to get that short form content out. Like we've just filmed the video a couple of days ago, and it was how well did my coaches know me? No, that would be an easy video to edit, whatever. And we ended up filming for like 26. The actual footage was 26 minutes long. Well, no one's going to watch all that. So now I need to now cut down bits that people won't care about, you know, pauses, stuff, to get it down to that 15-minute mark max. Because, like I said, nowadays people don't have the attention span.
There's a lot of dead space in there.
Exactly.
And right, another one I asked you, long form or short form, right? Here's the other question, vertical or horizontal?
I love horizontal. Honestly, I love horizontal footage, but the way to go now is vertical. And I hate it so much. I do. I really dislike filming vertical. I mean, but it's the way to go.
You know what I've been doing when I do like barber videos? Mm-hmm. I end up having 2 cameras. I have one vertical and one horizontal.
Yeah, horizontal. So a lot of times artists will message me like, oh, can you come to our gig and film it vertical for TikTok? And I'm like, oh, okay, fine, I'll do it. But then I'll speak to them and be like, but you realize, you know, let's say a few years' time, you guys are huge. You get a documentary made about you. They're not going to be able to use any of this footage because it's all going to be, vertical, 9
it's
by
not
16.
As easy to...
It's not, but...
put into a horizontal format.
You got to do what the client wants, I guess. And
yeah, if you're on TV, if people are watching you on a television or a laptop or anything like that,
it does. So, but hey, music videos are still currently being shot horizontal, but will there be a day when everyone shoots music videos vertical? I hope not.
Will your TV be vertical?
Well, I hope not as well.
That would be awful.
Oh, it would be horrendous.
That would be so bad, a vertical TV. You get TVs that turn around like that. Have you seen them?
I literally saw one today, actually. I don't want to think about it.
Imagine watching a movie on a vertical TV.
Nah.
That would be very difficult.
It'd be the first person that does it, though, is going to get a lot of fame from it. I know that already. They will.
Yeah, it would be a hard job to do that well.
Yeah, exactly. Well, obviously, the first person to do it well, more is what I should have said. Yeah, it's going to be a crazy world to be in.
That recent GoPro that I got was they've actually, I think you can film in 5.3K, and they've done that so that you can strip out a vertical section out of the middle of the video.
Crazy.
So yeah, but it is ridiculous. You put that into your laptop and it's going to melt it.
Yeah, unless you've got a mad PC or something.
Oh my goodness. It just doesn't process.
Nah. Well, we get that problem with music videos as it is, let alone doing 5.3K HD or whatever. It's it is unreal. But nah, I think video is, I mean, the video world has changed. Every world is changing. The photo world, the video world, the sound world. Do you know what I mean? It's and it's just about trying to keep up with it while sticking to your roots, I guess, and doing what you know.
Hey, Matty, I was going to ask you something else because I noticed on your social media you stepped into the boxing ring once.
Yeah, so I did a white collar event, April, I think.
This year?
Yeah, this year.
Okay.
This year. So one of my mates' uncles or something did it the time before, and he signed up, and I thought, so I signed up because I lost my mum in August last year.
Oh.
Yeah,
last year. That.
No, that's all right. And so I signed up for that reason, and it was surreal. I mean, fighting in front of 800 people. I mean, boxers fight their whole life and don't get to do that. So getting to do that, getting young Stunner to do my ring walk.
Ah, did he?
Yeah. So
wow.
It was a song, Valentino, the one that blew off the shelves, and he did the ring walk for me, and I came out with my Slovakian flag behind him. And when I got in the ring, finished the fight in like 1 minute and 10 seconds, TKO.
You won?
Win, yeah.
By stoppage?
Yeah.
In 1 minute and 10 seconds?
Yeah, it was...
good stoppage.
Yeah, it was good. And then I think the best part, which I'm so annoyed, so there was a photographer on the night there, and afterwards I got up onto the ropes, and I put my hand up in the air, and I had my big flag behind me, and I was like, yeah, it's going to be such a good photo. I'm looking at my girlfriend. I'm like, yeah, I see you. And I go onto the website to look at the photos, and there was not a photo there. And I was like, that was the best photo of the night. Well, where were you? And he was stood behind me as well. So I was like, oh, he's definitely just got a great photo of me. Stood up on the ropes, hand up in the air. Nah, no photo. Heartbreaking.
That's a great moment. Yeah, I boxed myself.
Really?
Yeah, I boxed in the amateurs. I had 14 fights.
Nuts.
But I know that feeling of the first time you go in the ring. It's a horrific adrenaline rush, fear, like you're hyped up. It's indescribable, I think. And I admire anybody who can step through the ropes. You know, like a lot of people talk about the people like Jake Paul and KSI right now. They're cashing in big time now.
Definitely.
And I agree that they're absolutely rubbish. Right? They're rubbish. But I admire the fact that they are actually stepping through the ropes and they're having a fight in front of the world.
It is a scary, like I said, fighting in front of 800 people is crazy. Now imagine doing that in front of, thousands of fans in the stadium, plus millions. On pay-per-view. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know if they do millions. You think they do millions?
Oh, 100%.
You think?
Well, for example, their football match they did, their charity match.
Oh, yeah.
60,000 people there. And they had, I think, a concurrent 2.4 million viewers on YouTube Live, which was crazy. I mean, some people don't do that on videos.
My son's made me watch that, those football matches so many times.
My sister went to one and she loved it. So
did she actually?
She went, not to the last one, but the one before. And she loved it. She went with my dad. And she said, because I, as a football fan and I've played football, I was like, God, that must be horrendous. But she said it was a really, really good day out. And I think when you're doing tickets for £8, you can't expect much more. You know what I mean? It's I paid £18 or 19 whatever to go see bloody Aberdeen play and get destroyed and cry myself to sleep afterwards. It's horrendous. But if you're paying £8, go see some people you'd like. And
there's some decent players in those games. Like
100%.
I like Chunk. Like he
Chunks,
does quite well. Mr. Beast's pretty hopeless at football.
He wasn't great. I think it's a lot of the Americans are pretty hopeless, to be honest, at football. But I think they grow up different to us. You know what I mean? They grow up playing American football, baseball and ice hockey and all that. Like,
I like ice hockey.
I loved ice hockey. I played
you're
ice
from
hockey.
Slovakia, you're from Slovakia.
I'm half Slovakian. Yeah,
that's quite big in Slovakia.
Yeah. So I played ice hockey for a bit because it was always my dream to play. I played for like 3-4 years, not much. So I played. I think I played a year in Vienna, and then I played 2 years in England. And then I was gonna start up again here, and I did. I played a little bit here, but really not that much. And it was really. It's a really good sport to play and a really good sport to watch. A really good sport.
I've been up to see the Dundee Stars a few times.
Really?
But, and that's really fast paced. That's the top league in the UK. But people say that that's nothing compared to the NHL.
Oh, NHL's different. I mean, I'd love to see an NHL game one day. And, obviously growing up with Slovakian influence and whatever else, ice hockey's huge for us. I mean, we've won the World Cup. I'm pretty sure we won the World Cup, but before I was born. But we used to do well at every World Cup. Always would, make quarterfinals, semifinals. Recently, it's not been so great, but when you grow up watching it, it's like, me, my uncle, my granddad, we'd sit and we'd watch ice hockey. World Cup's on, and the good thing about it as well is it's like free to watch on YouTube. So it's like you don't have to pay. Unlike football, where you're like there's like 6 different channels that you have to pay for if you want to get a game. You know what I mean? It's a lot better, I think. But I mean, I've played most sports. I played rugby. Rugby was 16 years of my life. So yeah, my dad was a rugby player, so he made me play as well. And
what's the hardest sport you've played out of what's been mentioned?
Boxing was
think boxing
played,
was hardest?
but yeah, hardest. I mean, I don't think I've ever been that fit in my life.
Right.
Genuinely, after doing that 8 weeks of training, I've done sports my whole life, and after that minute and 10 seconds in the ring, I was finished.
Yeah.
Genuinely, there's a part in the video where you see I'm just going, and then in the video I take a step back because it's what in my head I was like, I'm gonna gas out if I keep going like this. But one thing Josh told me before the fight is like, if you think you can finish the fight, go for it. And that's when I was like, I can't do this, and I was like, no, I can finish it here, and I did. Like 10 seconds later, I just went bang bang, and ref went. And I was so confused. I thought it was just going to be a standing count. So I'm sat waiting. The guy's like taking my gloves off. I was like, what are you doing? We're going back in the ring. He's like, no, you won. And
Did he send the guy back to his corner?
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, okay, well. But the thing is there's no bad blood because obviously we're all doing it for the same reason.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we raised like 37 grand or something in total just from our group, which is great as well. For such a good cause. It's really good.
Mm-hmm. I don't have any bad blood with anybody I boxed.
Yeah,
ever,
exactly. Like, I think it's a very... it's all for the screens when they're saying, I hate you, or I'll do this or whatever. But always afterwards, they're always, most of the time, they're usually pretty friendly with each other afterwards. It's like...
I was listening to Adam Booth talking about Derek Chisora and David Hay the other day. They had a fight at a press conference.
Really?
I don't know if it was quite well documented at the time.
I never saw that.
It was after Chisora fought Vitaly Klitschko. I think it was Vitaly. And David Hay came in, and there was this massive flipping brawl. They were throwing things about, and I think David Hay had hit Derek Chisora with a bottle, and Chisora was running around, and he was saying, I'm going to get a gun and shoot David Hay, and it was crazy, right? But they say that, so Adam Booth, he's outside bleeding out of his head, and he said, that's David Hay's coach, and he said, the door flies open, and it's Derek Chisora running towards him with all these tissues to stop the bleeding on his head, and he says, honestly, Derek Chisora is the nicest guy ever. Like, it's just crazy that they were actually fighting like that.
A lot of them are, I think, pretty nice guys. Like, I spoke to, Gregor, and obviously having worked with him, after his fight, I mean, him and his opponent was so excited for him. But I feel like in sports like football and stuff, you just don't really get the same reception. I mean, there's a lot of times in football where, like, you'll lose and you'll just see players storming off. And I don't want nothing to do with the other team.
I think it's really ugly in sport and in football, and I can't stand it, is when a losing team's taking their medals off as they're being putting on, the runners-up medal. I can't stand that. I think it's a terrible example to kids
Yeah, I think...
You got to a final, keep your medal.
A lot of people, though, they always say they prefer to win third place than second place, because third place, your last game, you won it. Do you know what I mean? You won your last game of the tournament.
Yeah, I understand that.
Second place, to end on a loss isn't great, but at the same time, I mean, you're second best in the tournament. It's a pretty big achievement.
Being in a European Cup final or a World Cup final is pretty big, that.
It's huge. I mean, it's the best in the world, so yeah, it's definitely big.
Yeah. I mean, I went down. I was down at the latest Scotland-England game recently.
That would have been nuts.
Well, I know, it's just the animosity sometimes ruins it, though, and you don't get that in rugby.
No, not at all. I mean, I've gone to tons of rugby games, and you have fans of the different teams sitting together, and they'll be drinking a pint together because there's no beef almost between them. They're just like, oh, we're here to see a good game. We want our team to win, but
I like how the referee's mic'd up in rugby.
A lot more respect. So much more respect towards the referee. I mean, I watched the Aberdeen game yesterday, and all of them just surrounding the referee, and I was like, it's not going to do anything.
They should put a microphone on the referee in football, and also they should have a microphone so you can hear what the VAR are saying.
Yeah, oh, I hate VR. I don't even want to start talking about that. Not after yesterday's game. No, that was horrendous. What is VAR for?
Why they didn't use VAR yesterday? Did they?
They did.
Did they?
So apparent. So
For the penalty.
So for the
The
penalty,
the disputed penalty.
for the poke penalty, there was VAR. It was called up by VAR. It wasn't called off by the ref. But Aberdeen should have 100% got a penalty. And I'm not just saying that because I'm an Aberdeen fan, but as a football fan, that was 100% a penalty, and there was no VAR to step in. So I don't know what the point of it is then.
Useless.
Yeah.
I know. What did you make of the... Right, we're getting on to football here, and I'll come off of that in a minute, but Scott McTominay's goal against Spain, how on earth that wasn't a goal, I don't understand. That was a belter of a goal.
I didn't see that.
You didn't see it?
No.
Well, it was outrageous.
Was
they said it was a foul, and then they said it was an offside.
Oh, I remember.
And then when
this,
they put the lines up, you could see that it wasn't offside.
Yeah.
And then they said it was a foul, and it was very ambiguous. Nobody actually knew.
Yeah, I actually remember seeing that on Instagram, actually. Yeah,
it was such a good goal.
It was crazy, yeah.
In the end, it didn't really matter. We're qualified anyway.
Exactly, which is great.
So,
I mean, I'm looking forward to see Scotland in the Euros.
I know.
And it should be good.
How are Slovakia faring? Are they going to be in? Or
we're second at the moment in our group.
Good.
So it's I was playing football, I remember, and I was waiting for all the boys to turn up, and my phone goes, "Oh, Slovakia goal, 2nd minute." Slovakia goal, 4th minute. I was like, "What's going on?"
What was going on?
We went 3-0 up in 7 minutes.
Wow.
Against Liechtenstein. I was like, that's mad. How's that happened? I mean,
well, Liechtenstein's quite a...
Yeah, it's not... but still, I mean, Slovakia's never been the best of football. We've had a couple of good players. We've had Marek Hamšík, for example. You might remember Celtic had a player, Moravčík.
Moravčík, he was a great player.
I never obviously saw him play, but my mum, when she came over for the first time, she went to an Aberdeen Celtic game. And when Moravčík scored, she went, yeah! Obviously in Aberdeen zone. Obviously not knowing that it could have got pretty bad for her. But nah, yeah. There's not many good players right now.
Yeah, okay, right. Back on music. Who's up and coming right now?
Oh, there's a lot. Definitely a lot. But if I had to say one of my boys, Dylan DS, he's not the most known out of the scene, but honestly, having seen his progression from the start, he's unreal. Honestly, he has huge potential. I think he's the least seen out of all the people that kind of I work with, but he's definitely going to be up there soon with
bit of a dark horse.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, he does that kind of American wavy style music, and that's huge. It's just about finding his own audience now, and I've got him on the EP. I needed him on the EP. He's going to be on at least 2 tracks. There's no way he couldn't be.
You're working with a lot of artists. Who's the easiest to work with? Who's a dream to work with?
Chachi has to be.
Okay.
I mean, turns up on time, always ready. He's he is just the easiest to work with. The only time I've had an issue with him, but he told me before, he's like, "Oh, I'm at a wedding, so I might be really hungover, and I might not be able to do the shoot." And I was like, "Okay, you've let me know, that's fine." Woke up on Sunday morning, he'd like message me like 6 a.m. He's like, "I'm still awake. There's no way we're doing this shoot." And I was like, "Well, at least you let me know." You know what I mean? So I was all right with that because I was under the impression that he wasn't going to make it anyway. But he's definitely the easiest to work with. Him, or I was going to say, or someone else. Maybe Josh McLean. He's a pretty easy guy to work with as well. Definitely. He's on the EP. Both of them are on the EP as well, actually. So tell
me about Josh.
So Josh McLean also boxed for a while, but he does music. He does like kind of more of melodic stuff, but on the EP you'll hear him rap properly. Great artist. We had him at Heatwave as well. Always full of energy. No, there's never a day I've seen him that he's not been jumping about and all over the place. And he's such an easy guy to work with as well. He's probably one of the nicest boys you'll meet as well. Him, Bernie, definitely up there with one of the nicest boys you'll meet as well. Young Stunner can be easy to work with on his day. He can be really late sometimes, and he can really be late, but definitely one of my favorite people to work with is Stunner. Definitely. I mean, I think we're on that same wavelength always. We've got that clavish toxic link up, like I said earlier. We've definitely got that, me and him. but it's just about pushing it to the next level, I guess. Yeah.
Matty, where do you see yourself in the future? Immediately, 1 year from now.
A year from now, that's really soon, but I'll set myself a goal of like definitely hitting 1,000 subscribers.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
In a year. Easily.
In a year.
Come
to be
on.
fair, yeah, okay.
You could go. I think you're going to be on 10,000 minimum by then.
I mean, okay, so in a year, I would love to have set up a couple series. That's for sure. I mean, I think a series is all the time. Like I had Trim Talks, which was a series where a rapper gets his hair cut, and I do the interview during it, which was pretty good. But it's a difficult one to set up. It's a really difficult one to kind of do because like the shop has to be shut and the artist has to be ready, the barber has to be ready, I have to be ready. We need microphones, we need this, that. But I'm coming up with ideas every day, and I just can't execute them. So within a year's time, I'd love to have executed at least like maybe 2 or 3 series ideas. Maybe have my own podcast set up. You never know. And just definitely, I want a video with 100,000 views. Definitely within a year's time, like one video.
Easily going to happen. That will happen. It's just because of the effort you're putting in. I just know it. I know because the videos you're putting out are so good anyway.
Thank you.
Like they should get 100,000 views. No, I mean what you've got out already will probably reach 100,000 views.
Thank you.
Oh, definitely. I mean that video down at Pataudry is such a good tune.
Yeah,
you know, and the video's good. As all those artists grow, the interest in in all the videos will grow, and
yeah, I think it's about building that Aberdeen scene rather than building myself, because I'm not all about. What's the point in being a huge video director if all your friends that are rappers are still living in Aberdeen working at KFC or something? You know what I mean? Like, I want to bring them with me, or vice versa. I want them to bring me with them. You know what I mean? So it's just about building up the scene, and hopefully we can all come up together, the whole crew, everyone.
So YouTube, you want to build up the scene with, and you know, basically take everybody with you. Everybody,
or vice versa, yeah.
I think it's I think that's a really good way to think of it, because everybody around you is going to help you grow as well, and you're going to help each other grow.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, they're helping me by making the music to do videos for. I'm helping them by doing the videos that they make music, that they make the music for, and it's about helping each other. I think that's the issue with the likes of Glasgow and Edinburgh, or even like Manchester, London, is that it's so big and so densely populated with artists. They're not going to help each other. We're such a small group that we need to help each other. Otherwise, everyone's going to fail. We need each other. Whereas, you know, like I'm saying, down in like Glasgow, Edinburgh, there's so many that they've got their own little groups that were maybe the same size as us. You know what I mean? As Aberdeen, but there's maybe like 8 Aberdeens down in Glasgow, like producer, videographer, and artist setups. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just about growing and hopefully making Aberdeen that place, making Aberdeen the next Glasgow or London. You know what I mean?
I think it will be. There's such a positive vibe about it, you know, and I think you're going to get there. So other goals, right? You mentioned podcasting. It kind of brings me towards the end of this podcast. But because my last question is always, if you were me and you were interviewing someone right now, who would you interview? If you could interview anybody in the world.
Anyone in the world. Cole Bennett. Has to be. Because he's such a big influence to me, I would love to talk to him and just speak to him start to finish. How have you done that? How have you got to where you are? If not Cole Bennett, it would have to be the likes of like Central C or something. Or like maybe the Kid Laroi. They'd have some mad stories, definitely. Like some big American artists, maybe Drake, Travis Scott, a lot of people. My sister would kill me if I didn't say Harry Styles. She loves him, but I think he's a cool guy as well. I don't know. I think he'd have a pretty cool story.
He'd have some stories.
Yeah, 100%.
Sure.
I think if I ever get to work with him, I'd love to do it with one of the. I think a goal for me would be to work with an artist that my sister really likes as well. Because to be able to then show her, like, look, I've worked with one of your favorite artists, or like bring her along and like, here, you can meet Niall Horan because I'm working with him tonight. That's definitely a huge goal for me.
That would be cool.
Yeah, really cool. Yeah, it would be. Yeah, definitely like make my family proud and stuff like that.
Well, Matty Lusher, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank
It's
you
been
for
an
having me.
absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
And I hope I can have you on again.
Yeah, in that year's time, and we can go over the
Definitely,
goals.
in 1 year's time, you can come back and we'll see where you're at. And it might be harder for me to get hold of you by that point.
No,
I think you'll be more in demand.
I'm humble. I'll know where I came from. Don't worry.
Well, you're always welcome.
Thank you very much.
So thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time.
Thank you.